Hello, hello, everyone. Welcome to Biz Chicks TV. This is the place where you can find tips and tools to help you do business better. We're here to help you run a profitable business that's fun to run and to take the hassle out of your hustle. And today I'm here with my partner, Miss Francine Gregory, real estate entrepreneur and tech diva. I'm Terralina from California Cover Ups, and we are the Biz Chicks. We are so excited to be here today. We do tech on Friday, and we like to talk tech in English, so it's perfectly understandable. So sit back and relax, get your pen. We're going to be talking things that will help you do business better. But before we do, I want to get started with
Let
this
me
week in tech.
let
Go
us.
ahead.
Uh, okay, so let us tell us. Okay, we want to let you know why we're starting a little early today. All
Mm-hmm.
of the tech divas are on location somewhere other than their regular broadcast spots. So we are doing this one. I'm live from a location in Sacramento. Terry's live from a location in Texas.
Texas.
And TJ is out on assignment, and Dr. Tachi may be out on assignment as well. So we are doing this one a little bit earlier, but you will definitely be able to catch the replay over on YouTube and Facebook.
And the
And we just wanted to let
clubhouse.
you, and the Clubhouse,
We want to
welcome
welcome.
Clubhouse people. Um, so we're just letting you know what's going on, and so in case you want to know why we started 10 minutes early, that is the reason, so that we make sure that we get you your test life weekly. Um, while we're all remote today. Okay, take it away, Terry.
All right, I want to talk to you about this week in tech history. And one of the things that comes to mind is that the first message on the internet, October 29th, 1969, UCLA student Charlie Klein attempts to transmit the text login to a computer at the Stanford Research Institute over the first link to the APRANET, which was the precursor to our modern internet. After the letters I and O are sent, the system crashed, making the first message ever sent on the internet low. About an hour later, after recovering from the crash, the full text login is successfully sent. Hey, sometimes we think we failed, but when we get up and do it again, there it is. Boom. The message went through. 1969. Wow. Okay. Um, DMCA signed into law. Now we're going to find out what exactly that is. October 28th, 1998, U.S. President Bill Clinton signed into law the Digital Millennium Copyright Act. The law is intended to criminalize production and dissemination of technology designed to circumvent digital copyright protection, known as digital rights management or DRM. However, the law has been more controversial with accusations of abuse of the law to stifle innovation and competition. Okay, in other words, you can't do that because I copyrighted that little piece of um, code or whatever. Yeah, a lot of controversy behind that. The other one I'm going to close with is the Pony Express goes bye bye. October 26th, 1861, only 2 days after the transcontinental telegraph line opened, the Pony Express ceases operation. Prior to the opening of the cross country telegraph line, the Pony Express was the fastest way to send communication between St. Joseph's, Missouri and San Francisco, California. Wow.
Wow,
So
it, that's interesting. It only took them 2 days. They didn't wait
they didn't
months
mess
and
around.
years to shut it down. They're like, is
The
this working? We're
transition.
shutting it down. They shut it down. And they, once they made the decision, or once the technology changed, they didn't fight it. They embraced
Hmm.
it because, as I remember, the history, with the Pony Express, it wasn't a easy job.
Exactly.
So thank
Exactly.
you.
I just like the whole idea that, if something is no longer needed, can we just get rid of it for, you know what I mean? Eh,
And it's like having the clutter in your closet, and it's just in the closet, and you keep moving it around trying to get through to something else, and it's just in the way. So
It's also,
as technology changes, we need to
hmm
embrace it, and
hmm
continue moving forward. The technology is constantly changing. Well, they got a new phone. Okay, you don't necessarily need to get the latest and greatest phone, but at some
hmm
point your phone is not going to function the way it should, because the technology for that phone has changed so much. It could be Android, it could be iOS, it doesn't matter. At some point your technology is going to need to be upgraded and changed.
there you go.
And don't fight the process. Plan for the process. Coach Karen mentioned this last year, or not last year, earlier this week.
Hmm.
She mentioned that put in your budget for upgrades. Don't get mad because they
Ah,
got that, oh, they got a new phone and they just trying to get me. No, budget for the upgrade. You need
hmm
your equipment to work.
and
Um,
it
you know,
makes sense. We budget. We used to budget for better copiers in the office, for better, large equipment. Well, your phone does everything all that other stuff did, but you got rid of the budget. Whoa.
mm-mm. You need to put it back in the budget because you're gonna need it.
Exactly, exactly. So today, hi, how you doing? Thanks for tuning in. We just want to thank everybody who's tuned in on Clubhouse and over here on our live, and we just want to welcome you to the conversation. We have a couple of articles that we want to share with you today. And one of them is the fact that Instagram is now letting everyone use link stickers in their stories. Now, I'm going to read this because TJ sent us this information all the way from New York City. She is so faithful. I want to give a shout out to Dr. Tachi. They are so faithful. This is Instagram is now letting almost everyone use link stickers in their stories. It works in a similar way to any other stickers in stories. Tap the sticker icon at the top of the screen, scroll down to or search for the link option, select it, paste it in the URL, and position the sticker in your photo or video. Now, it says the swipe up function that the sticker replaces was only available to verified accounts with over 10,000 followers, but now almost all users will be able to add links to their stories. New accounts and those that often share misinformation and hate speech will be blocked from using this feature. That's
Well,
interesting.
that's good though, and it makes it easier for if you're doing, say for instance, hey, I got a new article, or hey, our new YouTube episode is out. The people can
Hmm.
click right inside and be taken wherever you want them to go. I think that's a really good. That's really good. Just
It's
tap
working.
and let them take you where they want to be, wherever you want them to be. If you, hey, I got a new product that dropped, get it here, click, it takes them to the new product. I'm thinking that's good. It's simplified.
And it was something that people were doing, but they were going around the system. You know what I'm saying? So this
Right.
this makes it more convenient, um, and so I'm excited about it. Now it says, here's something else I'm excited about. LinkedIn launches global freelancer platform to compete with Upwork and Fiverr. And what they're
Mm.
doing is, it's called Service Marketplace. so that you can, this new feature will let people advertise themselves for gigs so that you can now get temporary work through LinkedIn. Because
Oh,
it
that's
was,
good.
yeah, it was formerly a platform where people were looking for long-term employment, uh, looking to switch careers, whatever. Let me read this little paragraph. It says, called Service Marketplace. It is a new feature that will let people advertise themselves for short term engagements to those looking to hire people for such roles, competing against the likes of Fiverr and Upwork for sourcing skilled knowledge workers. It will let people advertise themselves for short job opportunities or gigs instead of long term, full time engagements. By doing so, LinkedIn is directly going against the best freelance websites such as Upwork and Fiverr. LinkedIn is now opening the tool up to an estimated, are you ready for this? 800 million users worldwide. I
But
don't know how they're going to get people back in the office, Fred, but hey, it works
this
for
is a
this economy.
right, and this is a natural fit for LinkedIn. Instead of them trying to do video and stories and stuff, them doing this
Stay
is a
in your
lot
lane.
more. This is in their lane. Okay,
Hmm.
okay. You offered, people a place to put their jobs. Now I can book a appointment with you and not have to hire you. I
Not
can
have to
just
hire
book a
you full
gig.
time,
Right. I just need you for this gig.
or I just
I
need
think
temporary work.
that's a win.
I do
Right.
too, and
And it
it's a chance for me to try out the employer too.
right.
So it
You know
says,
what? That's actually pretty good.
yeah, you get to basically interview the employer by working for them and seeing, what is their management style? Do I like this company? It says Service Marketplace was first leaked out as a small test in February of this year. Since then, LinkedIn has offered a beta version of the service to the US, which has already picked up 2 million users from amongst the 800 million. So they've already got people in this quote unquote service marketplace. How you doing this morning? We've got folks in the clubhouse. We want to acknowledge Alexa and Brian. Dr. Tachi is over here. Dr. Tachi, you can unmute yourself. How you doing this morning? All is well. All is well. We're over here talking about LinkedIn and how they are opening up for gigs to help people,
Uh,
do freelance work.
is anybody talking in Clubhouse? Because I can't hear
Oh,
them
I'm
on this
sorry. You
end.
know what? Let me take my. Nobody can hear you because I've got my earpods on. Let me take them out of my ears. Dr. Tachi, just a second. Friends, like, is Dr. Tachi talking? Because we can't hear a thing. I apologize, guys. We get so comfortable with our equipment sometimes we forget that we got all these different things going on. All right. Okay, you there? Now, can you
Yes,
hear
now I can. Yes, I can hear her now.
her? Good morning. Yes, Dr. Tachi, go right ahead. What do you think? What do you think about LinkedIn and their gig thing they got going on here? How nice. Oh, okay. And guys, if anybody else wants to have a word about these little articles that we're talking about today, just raise your hand. We'll bring you up and let you make your comments over here in Clubhouse. In addition, I want there's another article here that talks about the fact that um, Clubhouse has added pinned link feature to rooms. Creators, moderators can share URLs at the top of the room pages. Let
Yeah,
me
now
tell you,
that I like for Clubhouse.
yeah, let me tell you more. Clubhouse is looking to add more context to in-app discussions, pardon me, with a new pinned link feature which will enable users to attach a URL to the top of the room display. Moderators will now be able to add an external URL link within the room presentation. You'll be able to do this by tapping the quotes menu at the top right of the screen. And what happens? Oh, at the top right of the screen, then tapping pin a link. Any moderator is able to change or move the link at any time during the chat. So I'm looking for those three dots. I'm going to tap them. And then at the bottom, share room, auto quality normal. I don't see anything that says I can pin a link.
Did you do an update? Because you have to update to the latest version of
Okay, I didn't update before we started the show. So those of you who are able, you may want to try this later on to update and then try those three dots and see if you can add a link, because this means that we can now add a link to um, the show
And
or to
only the
any
it's my
affiliate.
and it's my understanding that only the moderators can add a link. Is that
Only
correct?
the moderator can do that, yes, during the show.
Okay.
Carolina, can you do us a favor? Can you bring them closer to the speaker so we can hear them a little better?
You know what I can do? I can turn my laptop up too.
That probably would work too.
Yeah.
Okay. Is
Okay.
that better, Dr. Tati?
Oh my goodness. Yes. Yes.
All right. Sounds like a plan, Doc. So I've got my phone on max and now I've got my laptop on max. So we should be able to communicate a little better. So with that, you may want to try that later, guys, to tap those. If you're moderating a room, try tapping those three dots once you update, as Dr. Tachi advised us, and see if it works for you. The other thing I want to share, Doc, is that TikTok launches new hashtag Create Kindness campaign to combat online bullying. I think this is fantastic because so many young people use this app. My 8-year old granddaughter loves this app. She does, do cartwheels. That's her thing. And then my 13-year-old grandson is constantly on TikTok watching stuff. So it says here that TikTok launches a new hashtag Create Kindness campaign. TikTok has launched this campaign to encourage positivity and inclusion in the app, while also combating online bullying in an effort to foster a more open, encouraging community atmosphere. TikTok will showcase the videos on its Discover page throughout the month, while it's also launched Create Kindness hashtag challenge, which will encourage users to share the heartwarming moments and comments that inspire you to spread kindness. Okay, good morning. And over here on Facebook, they say people can express their feelings and dance moves on TikTok. Yes, but they can also express their empathy now. Welcome,
Okay.
Taisha.
Yes. Oh, I'm sorry. Was somebody going to weigh in before I?
No, go ahead. Go ahead, Doc.
Oh, so I think this is really interesting at the beginning of the day, in the front of your mind, rather than at the end of the day. Um, I don't know. I think platforms do have a responsibility to keep the users safe. Just like if you go to an amusement park, you don't expect to be thrown from a roller coaster because you're coming into their house and their safety expectations. So I do understand that. But you also have to use, as users, we have to use some common sense. And the
Yes.
lack of empathy and the idiotisry, which is not a word, but I made it one, the idiotisry that exists online is because we have lack of home training in the first place.
There you
so
go.
You have these wayward, lack of home training kids out on the streets. You think it's just in the real world that affects people? No, it's also in the digital world and now probably the metaverse. I know people are trying to escape to the metaverse, but it's going to be the same rubbish in there. So, I think that there is I'm not blaming the victim. I'm blaming the individuals who perpetrate such hate, such bullying, etc. And that starts from home. That starts with not letting now children think that they are the sun, the moon, and the stars. You are, so is everybody else. It's not just about you. And if you have a selfish attitude going in, selfishness comes out. So platforms, you do have a responsibility, but there's not a whole lot they can do about stupid people. Stupid people are going to be stupid people, and they can be trying to preempt them forever. We have to change as a society. That's just my 2 cents, or 2 pence if you're in England.
Okay. Anybody else want to weigh in? I think it's a good start to have a campaign, um, to bring awareness and to allow people an opportunity to express something different. But like you said, it starts at home. And my grandmother used to say, "There is no substitute for good home training." Okay. Oh my goodness. Well, we want
I
go ahead, Fred. What were you gonna say?
are we ready to move into the elephant in the room?
Yeah, we're gonna talk about the elephant in the room because we're not gonna be on here long today, Dr. Tachi, because everybody is mobile. I'm in Texas, France,
All of them.
France,
We are all everywhere.
and TJ.
Okay, so let's.
Go ahead, Fred.
So the main story that dropped today was that Facebook was rebranding. What
Hmm.
does this really mean? And I read the article from the Verge. I read the Verge. You know how they do the article and do a synopsis, and then they actually had the dialogue between Mark Zuckerberg and whoever wrote the article. I guess I should have remembered the dude's name. But
Hmm.
so the Meta, so the new name for the parent company for Facebook will be Meta, because
Hmm.
Mark Zuckerberg is into this whole metaverse. And I think next week we can talk about how this might affect our use of the apps that are now under Meta. So
Hmm.
the new name for it's not Facebook is itself is not being rebranded. The company decided to make a parent company and put Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, Oculus, and everything else under the parent company. The parent company is now going to be called Meta.
Hmm.
They made the change on the logo outside at One Hacker Way in um, Silicon Valley. And so they changed that logo. Just like Alphabet is now the parent company for Google.
Hmm. Yeah.
Thank you,
Carlos.
Carlos. It is like the alphabet.
Hmm.
So they all Zuckerberg did was create a parent company.
Hmm. Hmm.
It didn't change Facebook. We don't know how it's going to affect Facebook, but they made this parent company
Hmm.
and so a lot of people are thinking it's going to change the name of Facebook, or it's going to
Or
change
how
what
Facebook
Facebook does
works. Yeah.
or
Hmm.
how Facebook works. But this
Hmm.
is more like a parent company. And then it also is like he talked about where you can log into Apple with your Apple ID and then participate in anything Apple has going on. Your Apple ID gets you in. Um, that was what they were doing with Facebook, but a lot of people didn't want what they were doing on Facebook to be a part of something else. So now you may be able to have a Meta account, which will give you access to Facebook if you want to be in Facebook, or if you want to be in WhatsApp, or if you want to be in any other product or service that that Meta offers.
Okay, Dr. Tachi, I hear some grunting over there. Dr. Tachi is not happy with that. It sounds like
Um,
it sounds like
I'm
you get one key and it opens all the doors now.
So I just want to weigh in really quickly with it because you know how I feel about good old Master of None.
Mm-hmm.
There's a problem, right? And this, to me, it looks like two things. One, it's a way to get the increased scrutiny off of their backs. Not that
Yeah.
they weren't planning this, but it's a very convenient at the time when all of
Sounds
these
like it to
hearings and
me
everything
too.
are going on, that now
Mm-hmm.
you want to decide that you have a parent company. You've been around for 17 years, and now all of a sudden you decide you want that. Okay, that's very convenient. So it's like a distraction, in my opinion. Number two, it is the same. It is just a new hat on the same stupid dysfunctional head. It's there's nothing new, and I don't know if anybody thinks that something new is going to come about functionally. Okay, so now they want to move everything into this metaverse, and for those of you who aren't sure, the metaverse is really a VR space. Now they just did their virtual reality conference, which
Mm-hmm.
makes sense that they would announce it there. So the metaverse is a VR space where you can interact with in a computer generated environment and other users. So with other users. So I've heard really now there are a lot of NFT conferences or non-fungible token conferences that are taking place in the quote unquote metaverse.
Mm-hmm.
But there a lot of people are touting this metaverse as a utopia. But like I said, new hat, same stupid head. So if you have all the stupid people come in there, it's the same amount of stupidity in this new world. It's like going to Mars. You can fly fools to Mars; they will just be fools on Mars. So I'm hoping people will not think this is some new utopia that will solve problems because it's just another space with people that are probably already problematic coming in.
Mm-hmm.
So that's my take on it. I pass the mic.
Well, I do want to say this before we sign off. If no one has anything to add about this whole thing, is that it seems that the word meta and the way it's pronounced is offensive to some cultures because it actually means death, I believe, in some languages. And so, now you got Facebook death. I don't know. I don't know. Now
Or
the
death
company.
to Facebook.
Yeah,
How
death to
appropriate.
Facebook. Yeah, so you're gonna, if you're over there on Twitter, you'll see a lot of comments about what's going on with this new name. So, so be it. But guys, I find it really interesting, um, that they, like you said, Dr. Tashi, that they decided to suddenly have this overarching uh, name. Mm, I don't even want to go into the possibilities. And the whole metaverse thing, because like you said, it is about, for the most part, it's about this virtual world that they're trying to put us all in. They're even trying to bring virtual aspects to the workplace where you're no longer sitting in the meeting. You're now, your avatar is sitting in the meeting.
I don't want to be with you in real life. You think I want to be with you in virtual reality?
Oh my
Yeah,
God.
what the hell? Oh.
So guys, if you before we close the room down and we complete the show over here on the live, I just want to give anybody who wanted to make a comment an opportunity to come on stage. And if not, then we're going to let you go and wish you a great weekend.
Does Dr. Tachi have a
Yeah, Dr. Tachi
Terry?
had her, yes, Dr. Tachi had her comment.
I
Definitely,
did.
definitely weighed in about Facebook.
No,
Yeah.
does she have her media
Can I
report?
give you one? I'm sorry.
Hold on.
No.
What did you?
Does she have her media report?
I don't know. Did you have your media scope
Yeah,
report?
yeah. I was gonna give you because I know that we have to vamoose, but I was
No,
going
we
to
do
give you.
not have to van boost that quickly. Come on, Doc, and tell us what's going on in media.
Okay, hey everyone, what's going on? Welcome to kind of what happened on Media Scope this week. I want to give you a few stories because there are a few interesting things going on.
Oh, good.
Let me start out with and this is still also kind of social media, but Twitter has begun rolling out Spaces recording.
What does that mean, Doc?
You can actually now record your spaces.
Oh.
Yeah. So they've started rolling it out.
Mm-hmm.
It enables hosts of Twitter Spaces to record and share their audio spaces on the platform. Now, when they say rolling out, I don't think that means that everybody has it yet, but that's something that if you are a Twitter Spaces person to look out for. I'm sure TJ would have more info on that, because I was trying not to step into her territory, but because it is media as well, I wanted to let you know that they are rolling out Twitter Spaces.
Uh-huh.
Isn't that nice?
Yes,
All
it
right.
is.
Yeah, it's good. And then especially, I wanted to mention, as we know, we always need to have a plan, backup to the backup to the backup. Those of us that are really diehard audio people, I'm also diehard video, but I'm also diehard audio. If you are leading a group in a social audio space, you have to say, what if this doesn't work today? And that's exactly what happened at the beginning of the week with Clubhouse. And so people were freaking out, and it's like, do you have a plan? Or if that happens, where do you go? Do you take it to another venue? So, let me caution everyone that if you are leading social media audio spaces, that you have a plan to migrate people someplace else, preferably to something you actually own, so that you don't have to shut down for the day or whatever the case may be. But it could be a welcome holiday. Who knows? Let's talk SiriusXM. SiriusXM has added 616 paying subscribers in this third quarter. It's the home of Howard Stern, in case you didn't know. They just said this yesterday, that is 616 self-paying subscribers in its satellite radio unit, beating the 169,000 additions reported the same period in 2020 and exceeding its full-year growth target 9 months into the year. Now, I'm not surprised by that. When we look at those numbers, we have to remember that all of last year was a wash, right?
Yes.
Last year was a pandemic. So if you're looking at the same time last year, you're talking about we're still coming off of previous year's listening habits, right?
Yes.
So you're still talking about that. So now, of course, we've got this bump in pandemic listening. So it makes sense that you're going to have that many more subscribers. What the real test of is if whether or not this sticks is whether after all of this kind of subsides a bit, we still have those numbers. If we don't have churn, that's the real test of, okay, this is something salient. So I think we have to remember that and not get so swayed by big jumps in numbers in a pandemic, which is an extraordinary circumstance.
Okay.
Yes. So here's the thing. They lost 59,000 net self-pay subscribers in their Pandora music streaming business through ending September with 6.5 million total users. So they lost a little on the Pandora side, but gained a little on the SiriusXM side. So that's what's happening over on the SiriusXM side. I have a few more if you're game for it.
Oh, yes, we're up for it.
Fantastic. All right. So let's talk. Okay, let me start with this. So, if you didn't know, Joe Biden has named Jessica Rosen Morsel as the permanent FCC chair. For those of you that are not familiar with the FCC, that is the Federal Communication Commission, and they are responsible for everything that we hear and see and experience on the airwaves. They regulate it all when they do a good job of it. Anyway, so he plans to name Jessica Rosen Morsel as the permanent chair of the FCC, and he will nominate Gigi Sohn to fill a vacancy on the commission. So they've been buzzing for months over the delay in Biden's decision over the commission, and it's deadlocked 2-2 between Republicans and Democrats since he came into office. So Rosen Morsel has been the acting chair, but now she will be the first woman to become permanent chair of the FCC, which is 87 years old. So I get a little tired of us making firsts. Damn it! It's 2021 and we're still making firsts in everything.
Yes.
So anyway, she is the first woman. So congrats to her to be permanent chair of the commission. And Biden has also nominated her for an additional term. So we've got some changes coming over to the FCC. I actually also talked about this, that Byron Allen, for those of you who know, media mogul, comedian, extraordinaire, Byron Allen, he has acquired HBCU Go TV, and that's a streaming service for historically Black colleges. Yes. So there are 105 historically Black colleges and universities, and it will serve all of them. So Allen has been growing his media empire for a long time. If you don't know who Byron Allen is, you know the Weather Channel. He owns the Weather Channel, in addition to a chain of local television stations. He owns some streaming over-the-top stations. If you've ever seen like the Cars.tv, Comedy.tv, that's Byron Allen as well. So this acquisition is actually bolstering his company's reach into the African-American market and with African-American audiences. And he also launched, I don't know if you knew this, I didn't know, the Griot TV as an over-the-air network. Now, I knew the Griot was over the air, but what I didn't know was that Byron Allen launched it. I used to be a writer for the Griot. So at the very beginning. So it's interesting to see I was there before they got acquired, and Joy Reid was my editor at the Griot. So it's interesting to see this whole development of what's happened with the Griot. So congrats to them. They're also going to, they made a deal with the Central Intercollegiate Athletic Association to televise 44 games during the current football season. And they're also going to air men's and women's basketball games. And he acquired a library of more than 5,000 hours of content from the HBCU Go TV library that features HBCU students and alumni. I think that's pretty cool.
That is. I'm super impressed. And so this will allow a vehicle of expression for those students. I'm super excited about that.
Absolutely. I am HBCU all day, every day. So this is good for them. Awesome. I am not to open a can of.
However, Dave
Chappelle says he's ready to meet with the transgender community under certain conditions.
But my understanding, they don't want to meet with him. But go ahead.
Okay, so he has said this. So Chappelle is actually denying the claims that he declined to speak with the Netflix's transgender community regarding his controversial comments during The Closer. I don't know if any of you all saw The Closer.
I didn't see it, but I've heard about the fallout.
Okay, I saw The Closer. I heard the fallout, read the articles. I'm one that I'm like, I have to experience it myself unless it's something that I really don't want to be exposed to. So I said, okay, I have to watch it. So I did watch it. I don't know that my opinion necessarily matters because I am not in the LGBTQ plus community. I am not transgender. So what I have to say is from my experience, which is not theirs. So I don't know that my feelings on what he said match her because the way I'm perceiving it is probably completely different from what they perceive. So, but he did say this, that he is aware of the outcry and now he's ready for a meeting under certain conditions. And there are certain conditions that he said, but let me tell you what he said first. It's been said in the press that I was invited to speak on the transgender employees of Netflix, and I refused. He said this on a 5-minute video on Twitter, not Twitter, Instagram.
Okay.
Sorry, my phone. It's all the way over there. So
it's ringing already, girl. Your phone's ringing already.
I know they're going to cancel me already. But anyway, so he said that's not true. That if they had invited me, I would have accepted it. Although I'm confused about what we would be speaking about. I said what I said, and boy, I heard what you said. My God, how can I not? You want a safe working environment at Netflix. It seems I'm the only one who can't go to the office. So he also went on to speak to the transgender community, saying he's willing to give them an audience, but you will not summon me. He gave these conditions. I am not bending to anyone's demands. And if you want to meet with me, I am more than willing to, but I have some conditions. First of all, you cannot come if you have not watched my special from beginning to end. You must come to a place of my choosing at a time of my choosing, and you must admit that Hannah Gadsby is not funny. So I was like, only Dave Chappelle would do that.
Oh.
So this is interesting to see. I am very interested to see what comes out of this meeting, whether or not they do meet with him.
Mark has an opinion over here on Facebook.
Go ahead, Mark.
Okay, Mark says Chappelle can have a seat. The transgender doesn't need to meet with him. I have a few other words, but I'll not use them here. Okay. All right.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
It's interesting. Here's the thing.
Mm-hmm.
I think they do need to meet, and here's why. When it comes to, for example, let's look at Black communities, plural, or African American communities, plural. There's always this push that we need to meet to solve things, right?
And resolve stuff.
And resolve things. So there's always this push put on other communities to talk it out and resolve. In a sense, there's always this pressure on us to turn the other cheek.
Yes.
So if that pressure is there on other communities, I think it should be there for the transgender community as well, because they need the opportunity to have it heard. He's not a member of the transgender community, so he doesn't know exactly how, well, I'm sure he knows, but he doesn't know exactly how they feel. I think he needs to be face to face with it to hear this is what it's done.
And to invoke some kind of sensitivity to the subject. Yeah.
Exactly. Even if it doesn't work, I doubt very highly that there's going to be, very many changes, because he already said I said what I said. So if the transgender community feels that they don't want to meet, certain people don't want to meet with him, okay. But I think somebody, the Netflix people at least need to meet with him. If you are putting things out there, then you need to meet to resolve it. And that's just me, because that's what has happened with other communities, that we can't just put allegations out there and then not do anything. We always are compelled to meet or need to meet. And often it's helpful, often it's not. So I think that the same standard should be held to any community who feels that they have been
violated,
accosted, violated, downtrodden. Because let's be clear, the burden of proof, the perpetrators are never going to feel the burden of proof. So if you leave it, they're going to think it's okay. If it's not okay with you, then meet. Because I already had I think it was great that they had a walkout, but you had a walkout at 12 noon, at lunchtime, when people were going to leave anyway. Skin in the game for a protest is you leave at 10:30 during a meeting. You're supposed to get in trouble.
You get up and walk out, yeah.
Yes.
Or you sit in or whatever you're going to do.
Right. I don't know if millennials put that together or what, like they did Occupy Wall Street, because you see how well that went. But you do it when you do it on their time, not on yours.
If you're going to disrupt something. Yes, 12 noon is not very disruptive, especially if you're back at 1.
Exactly. It's like it's sponsored by sponsored by Netflix. That's what it's like. So I can't tell you how to protest, but I can tell you what's effective as someone who has protested myself. But I hope that they are able to sit down and talk it out, whether or not change comes from it. But at least the transgender community can say, we've done all we can do because we talked to you about it. And if you still refuse, I can't help you. So.
Okay, well, we have one more comment here from Mark. He says, if there is a meeting, he will simply use it as fodder for more material and a means to keep him in the conversation. Yes, because any publicity is good publicity. That's my comment. He can learn from lost opportunities, Mark says.
But will he really have lost opportunities?
That's Mark's point. That if he says, let me read it again. If there is a meeting, he will simply use it as fodder for more material and a means to keep him in the conversation. he can learn from lost opportunities. So he's saying, don't give him that platform, basically.
Oh, so lost opportunities from the lost opportunity to meet with the community, or lost opportunities in terms of gigs and jobs?
I don't want to say I know. Can you clarify
Okay.
that for us, Mark? Are we talking about a loss of jobs, or we lost or a loss of the opportunity to meet with the community? So, well, he's doing,
Yeah,
yeah.
interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. So, I mean, I will. Oh, there is one more thing I want to talk about.
Okay, and when we get clarification, I'll let you know. Go ahead.
Okay, great, great. But thank you, Mark.
Oh,
That's
here it
great
is.
feedback.
Here,
Okay, go ahead.
he says, lost opportunities of gigs and jobs. According to him, he has already lost meetings. Okay.
Yes, he did lose there. He has a documentary that he is shopping around, and he had been invited to film festivals to, he didn't submit. He had been invited to do it, but now since then he has been disinvited from all of the festivals. So yeah, that is absolutely.
So then we now know that you can be uninvited.
Short memories.
Yeah.
So he's uninvited now. That doesn't mean that a few months down the line,
this is true,
something won't come up for him. Look at all these other people that were so-called canceled, quote unquote, and now they're back better than ever, doing God knows what. So I don't think that, quote unquote cancel culture is not permanent often.
Ask Rosen. Yeah, go ahead.
Exactly. Except, and this is where the sometimes culture and ethnicity enters into this. Unless you're a woman, sometimes unless you're a person of color, are these things permanent? Is cancel culture permanent?
Yeah.
But for other people, often they're slapped on the wrist for a minute, and then they come back.
And they're re-embraced.
Right. So that does not make the re-embrace. That does not make what he did right. Not at all. And it's two separate issues, and I don't want to confuse the two. Equal justice under the law, etc., is separate from what he did.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So it will be interesting. I think it does draw him into the conversation, but I think, and it doesn't matter what I think, but I think that they should meet with him. He's already losing opportunities. What's the harm in meeting with him to let him know? Because now, if you don't meet with him, you haven't done everything in your power to make sure that he understands. You just sat there and you didn't do anything. You didn't meet with him. That's my take.
Okay. So to do everything to resolve it. Okay, and you had one more thing you wanted to share, Dr. Tachi?
There's going to be a Dune 2. For those of you that are Duners or went to see Dune, you'll know that Dune set a new box office record for its director, Denis Villeneuve, with a 33 million plus launch this past weekend. We'll see what it does this weekend.
Really?
But Dune 2, because of that, has already officially been greenlit. They are setting a release date for 2023.
Wow.
October of 2020.
That was quick. Okay.
That was very quick. And it makes me think, I don't know how, I haven't seen Dune. I don't know if anybody else has seen Dune. I don't know how good it is. I've heard it's really good. But is it good for a pandemic film? This is what I'm asking.
Okay.
Because we have few choices now.
It's very limited. Content,
but in terms of major motion pictures, it's very limited. So are we just saying, oh, it's great because that's all we have? If all you have is unseasoned steak and there's nothing else, that's going to taste delicious because that's all you have. So I'm wondering if that's where we are in film, or is it actually really good? I don't know.
I don't know, because I haven't been in a theater in a couple of years. So I really don't know much about it. And was it released also on for streaming? Is that how they made the 33 million in a box office?
33 million was in the
box office
4,125 theaters that it showed in.
That was the box office. Okay.
From Yeah, aside from HBO Max.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. Wow.
So that's why they're actually postulating that it's closer to like 39 million or so. So
Okay.
yeah,
And
so that's it.
and so Mark says Doom was also released on HBO Max, which is what you just said. So wow, that's a lot. That's a lot to chew on today. Oh my goodness.
It is. So you have lots for lunch to digest.
Oh my goodness gracious. Thank you so much, Dr. Tachi. Tell everybody where they can follow you on Wednesdays. She is.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So I am the creator and host of Mediascope, a show all about media tech and pop culture news with a side of fun and foolishness. We are on every Wednesday at 6 p.m. Eastern on YouTube Live, LinkedIn Live, Facebook Live, also WJMSradio.com Live. Right before that at 5, I also get on IG and I do a teaser of what is a pre-show. And on Thursdays, the following day, you can hear that same show on Gospel 107.1 FM in Nassau, Bahamas, and the Caribbean.
Oh wow. Wow. We can find you everywhere on Mediascope, guys. So don't forget to follow Dr. Tachi here on Clubhouse and on live streaming as well as her podcast. Doc, you always bring such value to us in terms of what is going on in media. Wow. So with that, we want to thank everybody for tuning in today. Those of you who would like to comment over here in Clubhouse, I'm going to give you a minute to raise your hand if you're looking to make a comment on any things that we talked about today. If not, I just want to say thank you for tuning in. Thank you for watching live. Mark, we love you. We're sending love your way, as well as Carlos and all of you who've been watching on Facebook. And those of you who are listening in the clubhouse, we thank you. And thanks again, Dr. Tachi. We're sending love out to TJ out there in New York and to Fran. She's mobile today. And we want to thank everybody for tuning in and remind you to go to the front of your own line. Have a great day. And we'll see you Monday, same time, same station. Thank you again. Bye bye.